Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go.
Oh my goodness, something really exciting just happened with money, and you're the first people I thought to share with. So thank you for being such a safe and warm community. And so what happened is I decided that the timing was right to book a international trip for my kids and I again. We got to go to Ireland 2 years ago. And this time, instead of traveling around, I really wanted to settle in one city and live there for about a month. And so we picked the city, everything fell aligned, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to book all the big things. I'm going to book the airplane tickets. I'm going to book the language school that my kids are going to study at. I'm going to book our Airbnb, just some big expenses at the beginning, right? It's about $10,000. And so I was looking at all my accounts and I decided I don't think I want to take it out of my regular checking account. I think I want to take it from my Freedom Fund, right? If you've never heard of a Freedom Fund before, it's this concept that I teach that everyone needs a Freedom Fund, which is really a long-term, high-yield savings account. Some people call this an emergency fund, but I really realized the psychology of an emergency fund really did not work for me. And I noticed that for many of my clients, as I was teaching them about paying off debt and building savings and saving for retirement, I think some of the wording that was built for men, honestly, or built for like a fear mentality just end up not working long-term when it comes to building wealth for women. And so I started when I was saving for my house. My goal was to save $20,000 to start saving for my house down payment. And then I upped that goal to $200,000 because that's how much cash I needed to not have a PMI and everything like that for the house. And I was able to do it. And I really think a big reason was because of the mindset behind it. I actually wrote a book about this. I'll link it in the notes. But really this concept, I have so much to share about money mindset. So if you haven't read the book, 100% read it. But one of the concepts that I talk about in the book is one I wanted to talk with you today about, which is the fact that money is for spending. Money is for spending, which is just an interesting concept, right? We think like the reason we haven't been able to build a ton of wealth is because we're not good at saving. But I'm going to suggest something different to you today. And could it be that it's because of your fears, limits around spending money? So let's talk about it. So when I bought my house, I definitely used my Freedom Fund. I also used my Freedom Fund to buy a car. I also used my Freedom Fund to spend $10,000 for this international traveling. It doesn't mean that I don't replenish the Freedom Fund, that I don't rebuild it back up. Also, I definitely would be willing to use that Freedom Fund for medical needs. I haven't had to this point because our coverage is pretty good, but I'm not unwilling to spend my Freedom Fund because it's my money. And when we call our account things like savings or emergency fund, I think sometimes it feels so separate from us that we feel like it's bad to spend that money, or we can only spend it on a true emergency. But like, what's the definition of an emergency, right? And it reminds me of like when people have like fine china that they keep in the cupboard, but they never actually use it and enjoy it. My daughter is the opposite of this. This girl will wear her finest dresses to school. And at first I was like, wait, should I let her do that? And I'm like, why not? Like if she wears those dresses and wears them out, no problem. Like she got to enjoy her dresses. And I think there's this mindset in us when we're young that it's like, save for a rainy day, but then no one ever talks about what a rainy day is or what we're allowed to spend the money for. And that's why I love calling my emergency fund a freedom fund because it's this reminder that it's anything that's going to intentionally buy me freedom. I do like keeping the money at a site. I talk about putting your freedom fund in a separate bank account than your normal bank. That way it doesn't feel too accessible to you. You have to mindfully spend the money. But it's still your money. You're still allowed to spend it. And I have this belief that when I spend my freedom fund, the money comes and replenishes. And it doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel like if I spend this money, then the money will never come back. And like, oh, I'm bad I did something wrong for having to spend my emergency fund, right? So what's really interesting is I spent the $10,000. I transferred it from my freedom fund. And literally the next day, this morning, $9,500 refund came from my taxes. Like literally almost the same amount. And so I'm going to bump it back over to my freedom fund, right? Just because I'm a single mom. So the amount I have in my freedom fund is very high and probably excessive for the average person. But for me, I know that, yes, I have money in the stock market and in my 401k, but for me personally, I am able to make a lot more money in my business when I'm feeling safe and secure, when I feel like I can go for months and months and months without panicking, right? And I feel like I'm able to make more money that way. So for me, the reason I keep a big cash savings in my freedom fund isn't necessarily because it's the smartest money-making move, right? I'm getting like a high yield return instead of like a stock market return. But for me, it does make the most money because I'm able to be so calm, so grounded, so detached in my business. If people don't want to continue working with me, I'm like, no problem. If my discovery calls don't convert, no problem. If a launch doesn't work, no problem. Where things start getting sticky is where it's like, if this launch doesn't work, I can't feed my family, right? If this launch doesn't work, like it starts putting in that like survival panic as women. And we just do not need that in our life. There have been seasons of life where I have had that at the start of my business and when I was in debt. And so if you're in that, it's fine. But that's why I think it's so important to prioritize creating that freedom fund because then you have that freedom. But what I'm here to talk to you today about is it being safe for you to spend money, right? It's safe for you to invest money. I have spent probably over $100,000 in my business if you count like my team, it's way more than that, right? But like in so many ways, I spend a lot of money in my business. I probably end up spending, I don't know, close to, 30, 40% of the money I make, I'm investing right back in the business, whether it's team, whether it's my coach, whether it's, just things that make the business easier, things that make my life easier, hiring my nanny, right? Like I am continually spending money because I know that makes me money. I work very part-time hours and yet I have 3 team members, but I'm willing to do that because I know that spending money makes me money in so many ways. And anyway, so I want to go back to this concept that it's safe for you to spend money, whether it's with a coach and investing in that when it feels aligned, whether it's for traveling, whether it's for buying a house, right? Your money is your money. You're allowed to spend it and it will get replenished. It's a moving, breathing, two-way street. As you spend your money, more money will come, right? As you're spending your money, more money is on the way to you. You do not have to save for a rainy day if you're in the middle of a rainy day. I wrote about this in the book, but I realized I was like waiting on, like I was saving up money, but I was like kind of in a hard season a few years ago. And I was like, oh, maybe this is the rainy day that I've been saving for. Maybe this is the rainy day. It's safe for you to spend money on yourself. And I find that some of my clients need to improve in, not spending money, but most of my clients, they need to improve their money mindset around it feeling safe and regulating, to let money go, to spend money, to let it go out and trust that more money is coming in, trusting that you make really good decisions with money, trusting that you are mindful, and trusting that even when you make like small money mistakes, that you're going to learn from it. And it's safe for you to make money mistakes on the way to making more money. I don't know any man who hasn't made large money mistakes, but they don't count it as a moral failing. They count it as a lesson, right? And I actually think that a lot of times maybe we'll have like shame or guilt around the ways we spend money in the past. Maybe it was buying a program or getting into debt but the thing is like who you were at that moment you're not who you are today, right? And I know for me, some of the biggest investments I bought, like courses or that haven't worked out, like I've learned really good lessons in my business from knowing like, okay, I don't want to do, like I remember I bought a course and then the course provider literally halfway through stopped sending the modules and just kind of ghosted us all. And I was like, okay, well, now I know how I don't want to do courses, right? Obviously. So I think there's like always a lesson, and I don't know. I think the only way we can do business is moving forward. Okay, so here's some affirmations to end you with. It's safe for me to spend my money. It's safe for me to invest my money. It's safe for me to let my money go. My money is a moving, breathing thing. And as I spend money, as I put out $10,000, more money is on its way to me. $20,000 is on its way to me, right? And I think I have this belief so like locked in that it doesn't really even feel like drama anymore to spend my freedom fund, because I have this belief that like literally more money is on the way. It's fine. And I think my willingness to spend my money is what makes me more money. When we're I remember my coach told me this really good thing one time. And that is like, or maybe I kind of co-authored this, but what I took away from this is like, I want to put like 90% of my energy around creating money and 10% around managing my money, right? And I think it is good too. You guys know I love the app Lunch Money. Like I love to budget. I love to manage my money. I have an amazing bookkeeper. I have a great tax system. I paid my taxes on like February 1st this year. But I think for a season, I was spending so much time obsessively trying to control my finances and be like strict on budgeting that I wasn't putting my energy where it's the most useful as an entrepreneur, which is creating new money, which is having new ideas, which is signing new clients, right? And letting like the budgeting end be a little messy in some ways. I think I told you girls that for a little while, I fired my bookkeeper about 5 years ago, and I really felt like I needed to learn QuickBooks myself. And there's nothing wrong with learning QuickBooks if that's what you want to do. But I spent like hours and hours learning QuickBooks, and it was very stressful. And I ended up messing up my books. Ended up going back and rehiring my bookkeeper and apologizing. But I think it was because of this belief that like, I have to be good at this in order to deserve making more money. Like I have to have my fingerprints on everything instead of being willing to like be like, actually, that's not my zone. Actually, that's not my best use of time. Like actually bookkeeping is meant to like keep everything legal on the tax end, but like I don't have to like obsessively know my numbers. I can check in with the money I'm making, with the money I'm spending. I can glance over my transactions to make sure there's no errors. But it can be like a 10-minute situation. It doesn't have to be like a 4-hour weekly situation that I was making it. And again, it was much more of like a mindset thing. Anytime things feel like really intense emotionally, we know it's a mindset thing, right? And so I was really able to shift into like, no, it's safe for me to outsource that. It's safe for me to like not be perfect. I can make like, and it's so interesting because I know the women that I coach that make lots and lots of money, a lot of them like are kind of imperfect at managing money, and that's okay, but they still allow a lot of money in. I think as women, we say like we have to be all these things in order to deserve making money. We have to be skinny. We have to be organized. We have to be, I'm not saying any of the, I believe those things, but like we put these weird things, like we have to be beautiful and all these conceptions in order to be worthy of making money. And sure, if you want to work on being more organized, great, right? But you don't have to do that to deserve making more money. You can make more money as you work on getting your books more organized or whatever. So just a really interesting concept. I think I could talk about money mindset for forever. I would love for you to email me back if you'd like and let me know what affirmation around spending money feels like something you want to embrace in the next month. Is it just doing some EFT tapping and reminding yourself it's safe to spend money? Every time I spend money, twice as much is on its way to me. I am great at spending money. I think for a little while before I really invested heavily in my business, I almost like treated myself as someone that was like not mindful, but I'm so mindful at how I spend my money. And so just reminding yourself of your character and your ethic that you are someone that is very mindful. You are someone that is conscientious. You are someone that is intentional. So it's safe and you're a great person to be spending money and to be betting and risking, right? Every time we spend money, whether it's on a program or whatever, like it is a risk, right? There is risk every time we spend money, but like that is life, is calculated risks. So affirming it's safe for me to take calculated risks as I spend my money, as I let my money go, as I like hold things more loosely, as I surrender, as I trust, as I play a bigger game in my business. And every time I've let money go, every time I've invested in coaching or elsewise, it's always come back to me. It's always come back to me. And it's made things feel better along the way. Okay, hopefully this was useful for you. If you didn't hear the announcement, I'm so excited that I too am letting go of something. And that is and for the last few months, have been feeling inspired to lead 3-Day Entrepreneur as a one-on-one mentorship for this round as an experiment. I don't know if I'll always do that, but I'm just feeling like that's what calls me in 2026. I'm feeling like that's how I can serve the world. Number one is I've been speaking up more politically on my Instagram pages, just because I'm like, wow, like when I had my traditional day job at the university, I didn't feel like I could share my political opinion and values. And now that I have my own business and no one can fire me, it's so nice to be able to be an echo for good and for truth in the world. The other way is I'm feeling like the online space that women just need more deep dives in their business because the world is crazy, because women just are battling the patriarchy every single day, even as they're building their businesses. They're, it's not easy. And so sometimes it takes more personal support and longer deep dives around decision-making for as you're restructuring your programs, as you're updating your marketing so that it works in 2026. Like all of this just takes a lot of deep dives. And so I'm excited to support a few of you through growing your business to $300,000 a year on a 3-day work week or whatever your version of success or goal is. So feel free to sign up for a free CEO session if you're interested. I'd be happy to share details, and just wishing you a beautiful rest of the day.
Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.